Hello viewers, my name is Javon Wilson and I am so honored to be coming to you out of the beautiful British Virgin Islands. Now today we have an esteemed guest. The British Virgin Islands recently appointed Mr. John Rankin as the governor of the Virgin Islands. Now within his constitutional role, he will oversee security, public service and good governance policies here in the territory, many of which has been challenged and remains at the forefront of our national conversations. Well, viewers, we dive right into the conversation after this quick commercial break, so do stick with us. Viewers, welcome back. Now, as promised, today we are joined by His Excellency Governor John Rankin. Governor Rankin, thank you so much for making the time to sit with us here at 284 Media.
Thank you, and I'm very glad to be here with you.
All right, so firstly, allow me to bid you an official welcome to Paradise. Just tell us a little bit about how your transition has been from Bermuda, because we do know that you were previously the governor of Bermuda. How has that transition been from Bermuda to the BVI?
It's been a busy transition.
Okay.
So I finished my term in office in Bermuda in the middle of December and arrived here in BVI in the middle of January, served my 14 days quarantine and then got down to work. And I'm very glad to be here in BVI. I'm committed to doing my best for this territory as governor, and I've enjoyed being out in my first 4 weeks, getting to see something of the islands, the sister islands, and getting to meet members of the community.
Awesome. Now, I know your predecessor, Governor Jasper, definitely had some tumultuous times with the locally elected government. Now, having been here for just a few weeks, how would you assess the working relationship between yourself and the locally elected government?
I believe we've started well, working in a cooperative fashion.
Right.
Others will judge, but I think it's important that there is a positive partnership between myself and the governor's office and the elected government and others with whom we work. Of course, we will state our positions, respective positions, sometimes without fear or favour. But I don't think that means we can't find constructive ways forward, and I will always be seeking to work in that cooperative fashion.
Excellent. Now, as it relates to your portfolio directly, you have a constitutional imperative to protect the Virgin Islands. Of course, that falls under security. But Governor Rankin, recently we have seen an extreme increase in crime. I know in 2020 we recorded just about 3 murders. However, just a few weeks into 2021, here we are with 4 murders already. Now, you did mention recently plans to up resources and do what is necessary within security to reverse that trend. So can you discuss a little bit about what you meant by that, please?
Yeah. Serving the security of this island, together with support for the public service and good governance, is absolutely key to my responsibilities and my priorities. And I share the concern of everyone in the community over crime on these islands and, of course, the recent deaths. And what I'm determined to do is to work with the police commissioner in bringing to account those responsible for such actions. So we're supporting the police in a variety of ways. The police commissioner has already made clear he has more of his officers out on the streets both during the day and night to try to tackle whatever may be going on in the community which is against the law, and particularly tackling organised crime. My office is supporting the police in a variety of very practical ways. So we're funding the rebuilding and repair of the Road Town police station. We're particularly investing in training. So since 2018, the British government has funded over £700,000 worth of training, strategic training for police officers here. And I'm now working with the Commissioner of Police on further ways in which we can strengthen the police as they help to give confidence to the community moving forward.
I know just yesterday, the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force released a statement saying that the Clean the Streets operation is now active. Can you tell us a little bit about what's been happening since the launch of that activity, that initiative, sorry?
It's really about greater police visibility, greater police checks, so that they can help to stop and apprehend those who may be engaged in illegal activity on our streets. I'm not going to go into the full operational detail of what the police are doing for reasons you will understand, but it's that increased presence on the streets to give confidence to the community, to give confidence to business owners, and to give confidence, frankly, to law-abiding citizens wishing to go about their everyday proper way of life without fear.
What about border security? I'm not sure if you had a chance to really dive into that as yet, but that has been an ongoing conversation for the last year, protecting the borders, especially within the midst of this pandemic. What are the discussions like between you and government, your office and government, of course, as it relates to border security?
Well, given the physical location of these islands and given the seas around us, border security is absolutely crucial in terms of preventing illicit goods coming in or transiting the territory, or dealing with illegal immigration. And as you say, particularly at this time of the COVID-19 threat. The island has done very well in tackling COVID-19. And as of the last report I got, just within the past 48 hours, we currently have 0 cases of COVID on the island. And I want to do all I can, supporting ministers and supporting the health authorities here in helping to tackle that outbreak, helping to keep people safe. And of course, the vaccine rollout with the vaccine provided from the UK is a key part of that. But we also need to tackle drugs and other illicit goods coming to the island. And therefore, I'll be working closely with the police and with the Joint Task Force to see if there are ways we can further strengthen that maritime border control.
Okay. Now, we see the world over really battling with coronavirus, not just us in the BVI. We have seen also that the UK, in its commitment to us here as a British Overseas Territory, securing 8,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine based on what Dr. Ronald Georges, which of course is the CMO, he told us today. He said just about 3,185 of those doses were already administered. So technically that's half of what we have to give out. So can you speak to the UK's commitment and when we can expect the additional doses? Because you also did say that by July 31st, the entire territory, who of course volunteered to take the vaccine, would be immunized.
The UK is committed to providing all the vaccine this island needs to vaccinate all those who wish to take the vaccine. So the first 8,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine arrived earlier this month, right, and the next 12,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine will arrive next month. I congratulate all those involved in the rollout of the delivery of the vaccine to people here on the island, the CMO, the health team, and helping to make sure people are vaccinated. And we've done well to get the figure up to 3,000, and we need to work hard on increasing it. And my message to everybody is, first of all, as part of the partnership between the UK and BVI, we are committed to providing the vaccine. And secondly, I want to encourage everyone to take the vaccine. It makes you safer and it makes those around you safer. And so my message, in line with the Department of Health tagline, is don't procrastinate, vaccinate.
All right, we do know as well as the AstraZeneca brand is the one that was secured for us here in the territory, and I know it's widely being used as well by members of the United Kingdom population. However, it is yet to be approved by the United States, Governor Rankins. With that said, is the United Kingdom in talks or even negotiations with the United States to ensure that at some point soon, this vaccine could be approved or at least recognized? Because one of the fears we have coming from the community is, suppose I were to take the vaccine and I needed to travel to the U.S., being that the U.S. does not recognize the AstraZeneca vaccine, what then would be our next course of action? So are you, as a matter of the UK, in conversation with the US on this?
What I can tell you is that the World Health Organization, which is the ultimate international organization dealing with this issue, has approved the AstraZeneca vaccine and has confirmed it's safe for people of all ages. 18 million people in the UK have now received that vaccine or the Pfizer vaccine. It's proving effective. I note that President Macron of France, I believe just yesterday, spoke favourably about the AstraZeneca vaccine. So I have every confidence that it will be approved by our neighbours in the United States and will help to give confidence to people from here wishing to travel there, and hopefully vice versa in due course.
All right. Now the BVI now has to rebuild from both the 2017 hurricanes and now COVID-19, this pandemic. What do you think is the path of economic recovery here? And in addition to that, support that we've been getting from the United Kingdom as it relates to health response, will the UK also be considering providing any non-health support in this post-pandemic recovery?
First of all, let me say I've been hugely struck by the amount of recovery work since Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria in 2017. I visited these islands after Hurricane Irma, and I was here in Tortola when Hurricane Maria struck, and I saw the extensive damage that was caused. And so I've seen for myself the amount of physical recovery work that has taken place, although I know there is still some work to be done, but that speaks to the resilience of people here and the determination of people here to get the island back up on its feet after what occurred. And so, as part of my responsibilities for the security of the island, making sure we have effective disaster preparedness, disaster management and disaster response in place will be at the top of my priorities, given my role as governor here, working with all the relevant agencies. The UK is committed to helping with the vaccine rollout. We helped with, of course, with the recovery, the physical recovery from Hurricane Irma, and I congratulate the work of the Recovery Development Agency in that respect. And we stand ready to help further going forward with the offer of the loan guarantee from the UK still being on the table. The key now, and this is not unique to BVI, it's true for every country in the world, is to help to keep us safe from the COVID-19 threat while also opening up the economy and getting tourists back into the island in particular. So I look forward to working with the government and the other agencies in finding the effective and safe way forward, because we want to get the economy back going, we want to get people back to work, we want to help these islands to thrive, and I'll do my best to ensure UK support for that goal.
All right, there's just to piggyback a little bit, you just mentioned the recovery loan, the $400 million loan. Can you update us from your end on what's the status of that as of right now?
I can simply say that the offer of the loan guarantee from the UK still stands. It's for BVI to determine whether it wishes to take advantage of that loan guarantee, but the offer is still there. That's just one part of the support we will continue to give. So the UK government is investing in environmental projects here. We're investing, as I said, in assisting the police force here. I also want to find ways, I think, of helping to encourage the development of young people further on these islands. I've got 3 children of my own. They're all now young adults. You know, young people are the future of any country. And whether it be through financial means, but also personally, if I can find ways of supporting education, supporting young people in their development, then I remain very committed to that.
Awesome. Now, before we move on, I do know that the situation on the ground has been really dire, especially recently we've seen especially outcry from the tourism community as our seaports remain closed. Now, as a result of that, so many persons have either lost their jobs or they're working on reduced salaries. Over in the United Kingdom, we see the government there providing up to 80% of work employees' salaries. And we do know it's a very different situation for us here in the BVI. What are your thoughts on that, especially since we are a dependent of the United Kingdom?
I think that this issue over the effect of COVID-19 on employment is a worldwide issue, and the struggle BVI has had in this area is no different from any other country, and it's been tough for people who have lost their normal livelihood. The precise financial provision which the government here chooses to make for those in need is a devolved matter. But what I would say is, if we can get the vaccine rollout as effective as possible, if we get as many people as possible taking the vaccine here, that will help to give confidence, not just for people on the island, but also visitors to the island, and will allow us to move to that next stage of opening and relaxation of the controls. It's a balance. There is a need for a precautionary approach. We do not want people to import COVID-19 in here, but at the same time, we want business to be able to open safely so people can get back to work. And again, I'll be doing what I can from my perspective to assist in that effort.
All right, we do know a commission of inquiry was launched by predecessor Governor Jaspert into the affairs of government to examine any malfeasance in public office. What do you think will be accomplished by this commission of inquiry?
Well, I hope that it's going to help to tackle the concerns which led to the establishment of the commission in the first place. My predecessor, Governor Jaspert, set up the commission in accordance with BVI law in response to concerns which were expressed by people here in the community and widespread concerns over possible corruption and governance issues. So the important thing for any country is where concerns of that nature are expressed is to tackle them. And I hope that the Commission of Inquiry, I cannot prejudge the outcome, it is an independent commission, but I hope that it will make recommendations which will help us to address those issues, give people confidence in the governance of this country, and of course where you have good governance, that helps prosperity, that helps security, that helps stability and success. So I hope that that is what the Commission of Inquiry will look into these matters. I do not prejudge what it will say. Whatever will be established, I hope will be acted on, and then we can move forward positively, constructively thereafter.
All right. I remember at your swearing-in ceremony, which you gave a really awesome speech, if I must say so myself. You did say that you support self-determination of the British Virgin Islands. Can you then reassure the people of the Virgin Islands that the territory's constitution will not be suspended as a result of this inquiry?
Well, let me confirm that, of course, I do support self-determination, the building of the capacity of people in BVI. The more we can build the capacity of people to deal with issues themselves, that's a win-win for everybody. I do not prejudge the outcome of the Commission of Inquiry. I wait to see what it recommends, but my objective will always be to strengthen governance here on these islands.
Okay, now I remember just a few weeks ago there was lots of outrage, and I mean the conversation continues about why the local press was not given an opportunity like the UK media to prepare for the announcement of this commission of inquiry. Are you able to share on that?
I mean, with respect, I'm not sure that's quite right, in that the announcement in the UK was made in a written ministerial statement after Governor Jaspert had made the announcement here. And of course, how the press respond to that announcement is a matter for free media, both in BVI and in the United Kingdom. But of course, Governor Jaspert did, in advance of the announcement last month of the COI, previously in statements here and in press conferences and engagement with the media, set out his concerns over points that have been raised with him by members of the community, concerns over governance. So the issue, I think, was well flagged to the media and others here.
Well, I can comment and say that by the time we got the information, it was already shared on international media, hence why that question was asked. But Governor Rankin, we also see CARICOM just yesterday within their communique. They met both yesterday and the day before. Their heads of government expressed, and I quote, the word dismay about the Commission of Inquiry about the way it was announced, and they said it was done so without any real notice to the local government, media, or even civil society. Do you think this has damaged UK relations in the region?
I think that what would damage relations and what would damage BVI, frankly, would be if these issues were not being tackled and not being addressed. Of course, there were headlines around the announcement which were uncomfortable for many people. But what would be much more uncomfortable would have been if these allegations had continued and the governor and the British government were seen to ignore them. And I believe that it will give confidence in BVI. And I want to support a successful BVI. I want to support a BVI in which the economy is doing well, in which people feel strong and feel resilient. And I believe that although, of course, there's some discomfort around this sort of announcement, but I believe that by addressing the issues and by tackling these issues and seeing and acting on whatever recommendations come out of the Commission of Inquiry, we'll be in a better place at the end of the day. So some discomfort, of course, but I think that what would have been worse would have been to ignore these issues and not address them.
All right, we do see the United Kingdom government recently publishing two reports actually on race coming out of the Black Lives Matter protest. However, it did not address the UK's history with the British overseas territories, where there is also some legacy of slavery there. Should the UK also be preparing a report that addresses this? Do you think so?
Well, first of all, let me say that I don't believe there's any place for racial discrimination anywhere. Certainly not in the United Kingdom and anywhere around the world. And I am determined and will be determined to tackle such discrimination wherever it may occur. I believe in equal opportunity. I do not believe in any discrimination against people on the grounds of their ethnicity or other similar characteristics. Secondly, as regards slavery, let me say without equivocation, slavery was abhorrent. And let me also say without equivocation that very sadly there are still examples of modern slavery in the world today, and we need to tackle that issue without fear or favour. It should not occur, and we need to make sure it never occurs again.
All right, as of right now, the British Virgin Islands remains clear of the EU blacklist, and I think that's something we should continue to celebrate. But do you agree that as a result of that, can you say that the BVI is a well-run financial services jurisdiction?
This island's financial services rightly have a strong international reputation based on their effective regulation. And I will do all I can to support a successful financial services sector here, which is compliant with the relevant international standards. That involves constant work. As the standards change and the standards alter, and BVI will need to stay ahead of the curve and make sure it is compliant with those international standards. I'll be doing my best to support those in the financial services sector to achieve that, and so we remain on the white list of the EU or the OECD and not on the black list. Obviously, the financial services sector is crucial to the economy of these islands, so it's my job to assist in that effort and support that industry which helps so much with our financial well-being here.
Now, speaking about the economy, just last year, the government of the Virgin Islands introduced quite a number of new legislations to ensure that we could generate revenue, diversify the economy in as many ways as possible. And one of the legislations coming to the forefront was the Cannabis Licensing Act. We do know it was passed in July of last year. Can you comment on the status of that bill and what is the possibility of it being assented to now that you are in office?
I mean, there were two pieces of cannabis legislation which were passed last year. One is on the legalisation issue. That's still under consideration. As you will know, there are debates on the pros and cons of legalisation of marijuana and legalisation of its use. And I don't think it's an easy issue to come to an absolutely firm conclusion on one way or the other. The other bill relates to medical marijuana. I think that's a different debate. And on that one, I hope that a way forward can be found. So medical marijuana is lawful in the United Kingdom, and it's regulated in accordance with the requirements of the United Nations International Narcotics Conventions. So what we need for the legislation here is to have a licensing arrangement and regulation set up, which would also ensure that compliance with the international requirements to make sure that medical marijuana is administered and produced safely. And I'm keen to encourage an effective conversation between the relevant agencies here and their opposite numbers in the UK, so that we can make sure those regulations and licensing arrangements are in place. So I certainly hope we can make progress in that area.
All right. Now, the subject of disaster management, it was previously under the governor and transferred to local government. Now, based on the recent passage of the new Disaster Management Act, do you plan to assent to this bill? And if not, why?
Well, I said at the beginning that in line with my responsibilities for security, I see effective disaster preparedness and management and responses as one of my top priorities. And I will certainly continue to work with all of the agencies to ensure that. And that work on disaster management, links directly to my work on security and indeed external affairs. As regards the legislation to which you refer, that's currently on my desk, and as I'm required to do under the Constitution, I'm consulting the Premier on that legislation. And once that consultation is completed and I've reached a decision, I'll let you know, but we're at that consultation stage at the moment.
All right. Now we pan across into the UK. Is currently monitoring telecom cooperation. I'm not sure how much of that you're privy to, but do you think that they will pursue a similar policy here in the BVI?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? I'm not sure I'm cited on the issue.
They're monitoring telecom communications, the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, they're doing that. Do you think it will be a similar policy being applied here in the BVI?
I'm afraid that's not an issue I've been able to look at here in my first 4 weeks. So,
that's okay.
So forgive me, but if you or others would like to send me some more information, I'll happily look at it. But I don't want to talk about something I'm not familiar with the detail on, ma'am.
And that is fair. We also see that later this year, the UK is set to host a COP26 meeting on climate change. What do you think we are on that as it relates to the BVI and the UK working together on climate change?
This is hugely important, I think, for all countries and hugely important for BVI. Climate change is happening, it's a reality. And it's deeply affected by man-made activities, in particular by carbon emissions. And climate change is partly responsible for the changing weather patterns, which we know from 2017 can cause such a threat to BVI and to other islands and territories in this region. And we need to find ways of tackling that issue. And so at the end of this year, in my home city of Glasgow, we'll be bringing together the countries who are parties to the Paris Agreement to try to find further ways forward in moving to net zero emissions. And the United States, under the new president coming back into that process, is hugely helpful in a way forward.
All right.
But BVI can play its part as well, because the natural beauty of the environment is so important to the economy and tourism here. And what my office is doing, together with many others here, is working on environmental issues here, particularly on renewables. We're helping to invest in the move to solar energy on these islands and dealing with issues such as coral depletion. So I think it's really important that the BVI is seen to be playing its part in that global effort to tackle climate change.
Excellent. I know the ocean is also very critical to climate change, and we see the UK pushing a nature-based approach as it relates to climate solutions, and they're launching the Blue Planet Fund to fund projects towards that end. Do you think that the BVI will be eligible to participate in this initiative?
I hope so. And certainly the oceans, as you see, are crucial. There have been a number of Blue Belt initiatives taking place in British territories in the Southern Atlantic and Southern Oceans. And if there are further ways we can act to protect the ocean here from marine and maritime pollution, to help also the sea life in the waters, then I'm certainly happy to explore with the authorities here ways in which we can do that.
Excellent. Governor Rankin, I think we have covered quite a myriad of topics here today, but before we close out, what do you want to say to wider BVI as it relates to not only getting through this pandemic, but as it relates to your portfolio and your commitment to the enhancement of this territory going forward?
Well, first of all, let me say I recognise that this has been a difficult period for everybody, particularly during the lockdown period and restrictions caused by COVID-19. And of course, I'm aware from what I saw in 2017, the whole hurricane recovery. So this has been a difficult time. I remain committed, as the British government remains committed, to working in partnership with people here to help to continue to address those issues. But I also want to look to better times ahead, when we've had the vaccine rolled out to as many people as possible, when it will be safe to reopen the island to visitors from other countries, when we get the economy going back again, and when we can continue to have that strong partnership between the United Kingdom and these islands. And that's what I'm committed to. I'm committed to helping BVI as best I can, and working with people here to address the challenges and to move forward in a positive way. I look forward to meeting more members of the community, more senior citizens, more young people, more people working in non-governmental organisations, in faith organisations. I look forward to learning from you, and I look forward to working with you.
Well, Governor Rankin, I think that was well said, first of all. And I want to congratulate you and welcome you again to this territory. We are a very beautiful and interesting territory, and I know that your services will be well appreciated. We look forward to getting to know you as well. So thank you once again for making time to sit with us here at 284 Media.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
All right, viewers, my name is Javon Wilson. I want to thank you so much for joining us, and of course encourage you to tune in at 6 p.m. where we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. Until then, take care.